Hello everyone, this is Energy Crafts here. Today this will make video part 3. This will probably be my last video on my solar hot water system. This is a whole house hot water system that works without a pump and has been working since February of this year. And in this episode I'm going to show the final changes that I've made on it, and we'll take you over to the side. It's basically the same as it was before as far as using the swimming pool solar hot water panel. However, let me take you to the side. I'll show you what has changed. Well, that's what has changed. There's no tank on the outside of the house anymore. Now it's just the solar panel with the two lines, as you can see at the top and the bottom here, that simply go into the house. And we'll take you to that in just a minute. What I've done on the outside, another feature that I've done on the outside, you see the blue tarp here? What I was going to do to control temperature was use a thermostat and maybe have an electronic controller or mechanical controller. But I figured out a simpler way than that. To control the heat problem of overheating the PVC piping that you see along here. In order to avoid getting extreme hot temperatures, I've done two things. The first thing is I don't have a side panel on the side of the glass box. It's open to the air, and it's just a glass door on top that is there, but it's open on the sides, so that provides some ventilation to control heat, but still produce enough heat to be collected and heat hot water and go to the house. The second change I've done is, instead of using both sliding glass door panels, I've covered up half of this arrangement. So in other words, one of the glass doors is now covered up. What I found was that throughout this summer that I only needed the area of one sliding glass door to heat up all my hot water. Instead of taking an hour and a half to fully heat up a 40-gallon tank, now I would think that it takes probably twice that long, so about 3 hours to heat it up. But by the time 3 hours has occurred, there's such a time delay that the water never really gets to a temperature that's scalding hot anymore. But back when I was going without the half of the system covered, I was getting scalding hot water at the sink, and in fact you could even see like trailing steam coming off of it. Not 212 degree steam, but you could see the steam like mist coming up into the air. And so that's the major changes that I've made outside. I was going to, instead of using just the tarp, I was going to make an automated rolling cover that would unroll to cover up portions of these panels. But since I've found that it's just a matter of either for winter time use two panels uncovered, or in the summer cover up one panel, I figured it's just as simple just to simply just put this tarp over it. In a future application I might actually build a little wooden frame around the tarp, and that stops the wind from pushing it around and so forth. But for now this is working excellent, and I get as hot a water as I want in the house without scalding, and also very likely reducing the risk of any of my pipes overheating, since I'm using CPVC and PVC everywhere. Okay, that's about it for the outside. We'll take one more view of the front. So it's just a glass panel with the two sides open, and those solar hot water panels do an excellent job of capturing the heat, and The thermosiphon principle carries it into the house very nicely. There's no pumps, no controls, no thermostats. This is as simple as you can get. But I'm going to show you one more feature that makes it even simpler, because I'm not even using a check valve like almost all the hot water systems you hear about used on conventional roofs. They all need a pump and they need a check valve, and I'm not using either. Okay, I'll take you inside and I'll show you what I've got going there. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the water closet and you'll see the hot water tanks. So here's the floor inside the closet. I built a stand. It's got to be able to support 450 to 500 pounds of weight. When you have a hot water tank that's full of water, plus the weight of the tank, it's quite considerable. So what I've done is I've taken my thermosiphon hot water tank and I've mounted it on this wooden stand. Here's the tank. You see there's the bottom PVC pipe, and at the top you can see CPVC pipe. So these are the two lines that are coming from the solar hot water panel outside, and of course the thermosiphon, this lower pipe is the return back to this outside solar panel, and this is the upward going heated water from outside that's going to the top of the tank. And there's the extreme top of the tank. There's two lines there, and of course that's the water that feeds into the house. Now, my conventional hot water tank, electrically powered, is just here to the side, and it's still down on the ground. Now, in an ideal case, I should elevate it as well up on a stand. But I've found that since last winter, I have not had to turn on this electric hot water tank at all, even though I've got it plumbed to be parallel to my solar hot water tank, so that I can use either one in case of an emergency, or if one starts to leak, you can always secure one and operate the other. But otherwise, this is what I've got for now, and probably this will be what I'll stay with. Now, the advantage I was mentioning, the not using a pump, is obviously because I have the elevated tank, and because my tank is higher than the level of the solar panels, it means I don't need a check valve whatsoever. So any losses of efficiency from having to go through a check valve is gone. Any maintenance dealing with cleaning a check valve, gone. The need for a pump, gone. Because in this situation, since my hot water tank is higher elevated than the solar panel is outside, there will never be a time where there will be a backfeed of the hot water in this tank going back outside and dumping my hot water to that panel. Whereas if the solar panel and the tank were at the same level, that would happen cyclically every day. Well, that is about it. I hope you enjoyed this series on my solar hot water system. It's very scalable. You can add more tanks, you can add more solar panels, but I don't think you can beat it. This is absolutely as simple as you can go on a system that requires practically no maintenance and very little cost. Had I had to do it over, I probably would have spent less than $100, and that would be mostly just for the PVC and CPVC piping. But everything else was free or little cost for gas to go get it. So hope this has been useful to you, and we'll see you again.